Yeah. Yes. Gamers rise up. How are we today? As you can see, I've got my Gillian Anderson t-shirt on. I've just watched Robin, a 3.5 out of 5 for me. The only film in the 2020 so far that Gillian Anderson has starred in that is not part of a franchise, as of right now. So it is a singular film review, but it also kind of goes to the Gillian Anderson playlist that I have been curating. The audio's not working that properly on here. It seems a bit quieter than usual. Hopefully the audio's not too bad, but you may need to turn up your volume on this video. Just remember to turn it down after, because we've all been there. But I've just watched the movie on Netflix, and for the most part, it's not too bad. I didn't realise it was a Christmas film. Like, obviously, I saw that the picture was a robin and snow, but I didn't realise it was a Christmas film because it can snow during. Well, obviously, I live in England, so it never gets snow at Christmas. It's always in February or in January after Christmas. But and I was just watching AFTV there. They've lost to Bournemouth. You just knew it was going to happen. Anyways, the movie I was a bit undecided on when I was thinking of a rating to give, but I've got this marker down on my keep notes where I give a reason as to why it's not a 5 out of 5, just like a short reason. I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't know how controversial this is because I know a lot of people really enjoyed this film, and I did for the most part. It started off a bit slow, but then it found its footing when the magpie, and it's not because I'm a Geordie, came in. But I thought the music wasn't the best. I know it's not necessarily meant to be like a big on musical, but the fact that it's half an hour long, that's including the credits. There is 3.5 songs sang, because the other half is sort of like a remixed version. I say remixed. Yeah, a remixed version of the song that appeared first in the film. It's a musical, and because of that, you've kind of got to give it a score based on its music as well. Because if you like a song, I just wasn't the biggest fan, to be honest, of the music in this. Like, obviously, the composition for the instrumentals and stuff, that's good, but as for the vocals, for like the lyrics and stuff, I just wasn't a big fan. So the movie, it's about this robin, a bird, who at the start of the film hatches out of an egg that's just left there, and these mice have just ransacked a house. Ransacked sounds a lot cooler than stolen crumbs. So they had the balaclavas on. No, they didn't. No, no, no. It's a kid movie with obviously the occasional cat trying to. Well, the only cat in the movie is Gillian Anderson. So she's the antagonist, if you will. I didn't realize it was a Christmas film. Uh, so it's like what? Well, whatever day it is, the 11th of April. That's when it's coming out because that's when it's been filmed. Um, so the mice take in a robin, and then we fast forward straight away into maybe a few years into the robin being a mouse. The robin doesn't know that she can fly because she's been raised by mice, and how are mice able to teach a bird how to fly? They go to ransack a house, and the mice are all very quiet. They know what they're doing, but Robin, literally that's her name, Robin the Robin, might have been a better name than Robin Robin. Robin is a very clumsy thief. Um, lets cutlery fall onto the floor like a divvy, all because she's greedy for a big sandwich. Isn't that attentive to the surroundings of her. Um, and I quite like. So obviously, it started off a bit slow for me, I suppose, with the music and everything. But I really liked how the mice, like it portrayed the mice and the magpie and the cat as realistic as possible. where the mice just seem to know how to get in and get out. I know the ant bully kind of had that. I don't want to say synopsis, but it kind of had that same feeling to it, where like flies know how to get in, but they can't get out. It's a bit silly, isn't it? So the movie then has a reveal after they have to just get out of the human's house, that most of the houses that were on their list have been crossed off to never go there again in case they've got traps or any form of poison, and it's more or less alluded to Robin's fault for not being careful. Fair enough. She's chubby. She's a bird who's obviously going to attract more attention than a mouse. She's greedy. She's selfish. But her dad defends her. But there's some form of divisionism. You know, some of the mice are getting a bit fed up with her, especially one of them who's getting sick of Earl tea to eat. So I quite like how they had that the mice were then afraid to go back into a house because they were self-aware enough that they would have traps. So they go to sleep on a bad note, and then Robin sees that there's like one house left that hasn't been ransacked. So she goes there and ends up falling into the eyesight of a cat, because I believe she's trying to get into one of the houses, and then she goes the wrong way. So because she doesn't know where she's going. And the magpie, he's too busy doing his own thing, looking for cutlery, looking for silver. He's not helping her. So she then finds her way into the near jaws of death of a cat, runs out. The cat starts chasing her. She tells the magpie that there's a cat. They're both legging it. The magpie still has the spoon, I think it was. And then they find refuge in his house. Not that he's allowed her to be in. He's a selfish magpie, but he's likable. He is. He's likable. He would go to the pub with him if he was a human, I suppose. Human. So, after they manage to escape the cat, um, they start talking about, humans and how they have it so lucky. And the magpie seems to think that the star on top of a Christmas tree that comes out once a year is purely for the sake of granting the humans a wish. Um, so they decide to try and ransack the house because she is a mouse by personality, I guess is the right word. So they decide to do the ransacking of it. She teaches him what to do, goes to the letterbox, and then she's like, he was meant to keep guard because he's got a broken wing, so he can't fly. And he's like, you're a mouse? You're a bird, how can you not fly? So they're in the human's house, and she goes, follow me, and do exactly as I say, but make no noise. And what does she do? Makes noises, because she's not very good at her job. So the magpie does exactly the same thing, and she has a go at him, and he's like, well, you've just done that, why can't I do that, right? Double standards. Just like Robbie off AFTV. Can't criticise Arsenal, but that's how you make your money. Um, so essentially, they managed to get to the top of the star, but along the way, on their way back home, when they're still on the tree, my brain's not working today. I'm a bit tired. They get the saw, and then bells fall off the tree, and it draws attention to the humans. and then she gets flung from the tree to the chair, and then the chair, and then she's gonna like probably splat across the window, but then the um she's gonna go into the fire. I think she's gonna go into the fire or something, the fire or like the mantel place. And then the magpie says, you know, flap your wings, just flap, and she does it, and he goes, ah, you're a natural. And I think the star ended up somewhere, but they get the star back anyways, and they leave the house, and then they go back, make a wish before they go to sleep, and the wish doesn't happen. And I'll tell you why the wish didn't happen, because you know what happened before. So they left, and then they started running with the star, but then she ended up, the robin, in the same place when they were trying to escape the humans, where the cat was. She found her way with the star, and the star was up above and she was down below. The cat was in her, whatever you call, like a kennel for a cat. She was there. I don't know if she was a stray or not. Anyways, so she's there, and then she's toying with the robin, essentially saying, you know, you're going to be a good meal, and the robin's trying to hide, and she's like, you're not a mouse. Obviously, she's not, but then she has like her ears. She has like the back of her head, like a fluff put up to be ears to look like a mouse and resemble it. One thing leads to another with the cat and mouse chase for about a minute or so. The mind games. The robin gets the star, but then she falls off, doesn't she? I think she falls off. Yeah, because she's about to get the star, I think, and then she gets it. I feel like I've not watched this movie. I have. My brain's just not with it. I tell you, 10 to 8 early up, and then doing the stream for 2 hours. They get the star, and then the cat's about to eat her, but the magpie comes in like the hero that he is with the torch. And then she grabs the torch off him, the robin, and like threatens the cat, only for the entire cat house to explode. So she runs with the star and the magpie and the cat. They all run, they all go their separate ways. Well, the cat does. They go to the magpie's house, which is like a massive tree. Make a wish. The magpie wants shiny things. She wants to be an actual mouse. She wakes up, sees that it doesn't happen, and she's crying. The magpie is depressed that it didn't happen as well, that the magic star on top of a Christmas tree didn't grant him shiny things, but then when the sun is rising up, he realizes they're shiny things. But who is it? It's the mouses in disguise who were looking for Robin, worried, sick that she had run away. And she was like, I'm fine, you divvies, I'm fine. I didn't need to do this. I know how to fly now. But a nice reunion is cut short straight away because the cat is back with a vengeance. So they're all run into the treehouse, lock the door, and the magpie is like, she'll never get down that door. And the cat comes in and she's angry. She sees the the magpie, the robin, and it's like Christmas Day came early for. Well, no, it is Christmas Day, and it's not even came early. It's on time. Her Christmas is right there. Her Christmas is right there for the taking. So she ends up trying to kill them all, but the Robin flies and pretends to be a bad sneaker, and it distracts the cat long enough that the mice manage to hide inside like tin pots and stuff with the magpie. And then the cat, she's angry, so her and the robin chase. But as the cat is chasing the robin, a lot of stuff is getting stuck to her. And I don't know how, but it just did. Maybe it's static. And then on top of a tree branch, and you can tell that the weight is dragging the tree branch down, and it is. Down and down and down, and then she falls into the river. Whilst the robin flies, because the robin, she knows how to fly now, but the cat, You know, that's the end of it. They're looking in the river, they see the robin, and it's happy days. Everybody's happy. The cat just goes down the waterfall, keeps on getting stuck with all the metal. More metal comes off, and the cat is just washed away, probably to her death. And you're celebrating if you're the magpie, robin, and the mice. You're living life. You're loving it, loving it, loving it. You're loving it like that. And then she says she's a bad mouse. They all agree, which, well, maybe not all, but most of the mice agree that she is. But then they realise they can use that to the advantage. So it's Christmas night, and all the dinner's there. She flies outside the window after pretending that, there's a knock at the door and the humans come out, and the magpie who got a spoon puts it at the door so it stops it. But that's what I don't get. Surely if you're a human, you see that your door's not been shut properly and you slam it shut. But you need the plot to progress somehow to have the happy ending. And just a distraction. She is now going to be the distraction for the mouses and even maybe the magpie to get what they need and to get out. And then at the end of it, they're back in the mouses' tree where they live, or the magpies. I think it's the mouses, and eating Christmas dinner, and then it just ends. And I thought, for the most part, it's fairly enjoyable. I feel like it's very hard. Like, you can watch something start to finish, but still be a bit lost on what exactly happened all throughout because your brain can't retain all that information at once. But they go to the human's house with the magpie and they get the stuff, and that's the end. They're all eating the Christmas dinner. And, like, it's fine. Listen, animation, as of right now, I didn't grow up on animation, and if I had to watch animation back when I was little, I didn't really like it. But I'm open to, getting into it more. I do want to get into anime. I want to get into animation stuff as well. And this was more like, because it's Aardman, so, they did Wallace and Gromit. They did, was it Chicken Little or Chicken Run or something? They did another one. I think it was like an ITV1 show where they interview like fake animals. Like it's a mockumentary series. So you knew that Aardman were going to cook anyways. And to be fair, they did with the designs and everything. It looked like an Aardman production should. And it's a nice. You would listen. You would stick it on at Christmas Eve if you had kids over, because it's a nice movie. You know what I mean? It's nice. It's relaxing. It's a bit tense. Oh, is the cat gonna eat the robin? And I think that might have been one of the best parts. The magpie was the MVP, but I do think that the cat and mouse part, even if the lyrics weren't the best, was probably the best bit because there was so much going on that I was actually struggling. So remember, they get the star from the window. See, that's what I can't remember. So because they get the star, and then she gets flung back, and then she learns how to fly. Then I think they grab the star, and then she falls down onto the ground into the snow. And then like she finds herself in the cat house. But I did watch all of it. Apart from the credits, like I stopped it when the credits were on. But it's not too bad of a film. I dread the day when I've got to watch a lot more animation. There's just something about it that I can appreciate it for what it is. It's a very demanding job, and it's probably harder to make an animated 2 minute short than it is to make a 90-minute live action film. So props do go to animation for that, but I just never liked it growing up for some reason. But hopefully my mind expands and I see some good animated movies. I did like some growing up, but that's a story for a different day. But I thank you very much for watching. Much love, and I shall see yous And the next one, so I'm going to be doing a Football Manager 2005 series on my second channel, Raging Reader, but that's going to be partnered with this, so you should still get it in your homepage. And then from tomorrow, I'm not saying tomorrow a video's coming out where I'm watching a movie, but from tomorrow, the Mario movies, you know, like all of the officially licensed produced Mario movies are going to be out. And by out, I mean out onto this channel by hopefully the end of the month, purely for the sake that it's not a lot. And I do need to see the sequel in cinemas before I can't catch it. So much love. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.